morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gentex Multimedia live streaming for Australian Indian Radio, and welcome to the show on this glorious autumn day here in Brisbane. Hope in your part of the world you might be enjoying the day as well as much as we are here in Queensland, as we know one of the more fortunate areas in the world at this point in time. Well, having said that, today is the 14th of May. 14th of May is a very significant day in the lives of Fiji Indians. So, that in 1879, the first shipload of Indians were brought to Fiji under the British rule on 14th May 1879 on board Leonidas. So, tonight, 14th of May night here in Brisbane, Gopia, Queensland, as it does every year, will be holding the Girmit night or a remembrance night. There are many ways people celebrate that. Gopia has always taken the stance of holding it as a somber event where it's a remembrance event. It's not a song and dance, party or anything like that. So it's more in the same lines as Anzac. So it will be wonderful, a very well planned program for tonight in Brisbane. So if you haven't registered, please do so to come there. But right now, what's happening in the world today? Well, as right now we know that Fiji is going through a bit of a crisis right at this point in time with the COVID cases, and they're trying to get it under control. Let's hear from Mr. Fong and see what he has to say about the situation.
Fiji. Last night, one of our COVID positive patients, a woman from the recent Makoi cluster, was entered into intensive care after her condition began to deteriorate rapidly. I am sad to report that despite the best efforts of her attending physician, she passed away. We informed this woman's family of her passing and offered them our sincere condolences well before making this announcement to the nation, as we wanted them to have time to process this bad news privately. Tonight I offer the nation my ministry's total commitment to spare as many families as we can. From the tragedy of seeing loved ones lost to a terrible disease. This is our second reported death from COVID-19 due to this outbreak. It serves as yet another painful reminder of the severity of the threat that we face. We are dealing with a virus that has claimed more than 3.7 million lives around the world. Many more Fijian lives could all too easily add to that sobering figure. But that does not have to happen. The war against this virus is still winnable. Many thousands of lives can still be saved. Today, tomorrow, and every day. After all, for the foreseeable future, we can tell you what steps you can take to protect yourselves and protect the ones that you love. Listen often, listen well, and please adhere to every word of advice that we have to give. Today we have another 4 new cases of COVID-19 to report. The first case is from Makoi, presented to the Oceania Hospital with symptoms. At this early stage of the investigation, this case has no known links to any other case. The Oceania Hospital Outpatients Department was temporarily closed yesterday for contact tracing and decontamination. Anyone who potentially had contact with this case at the hospital has been quarantined. The next case is also from Makoi, and is an administration staff of the Fiji CDC. According to Fiji CDC protocol, he was tested after he returned from annual leave this week. The next 2 cases were administrative staff at the Fiji CDC who had tested negative during routine testing earlier this week, but was positive as part of the contact tracing of this new case. The 3 staff have been tested positive for the virus and have been transferred to isolation facilities. Our investigations so far indicate that this cluster originated outside the Fiji CDC and the virus was then brought in, as would be an expected consequence of community transmission. Apart from these 3 cases, all other Fiji CDC staff have tested negative so far, including all of the laboratory and medical staff at the center. We know that there was limited contact between the administration staff and the laboratory personnel due to existing protocols. However, as a result of these cases, Fiji CDC has been sequestered with staff on site or placed in quarantine facilities. Testing has temporarily halted while the decontamination is being completed. The on-site staff will continue processing samples after decontamination of the facility, and they will be tested and retested frequently during the sequestration period, similar to what is currently happening at Lautoka Hospital. As for our other active cases, thousands of Fijians received text alert yesterday alerting them that they may have been contact of some of the new cases confirmed at Extra Supermarket. Our contact tracing investigations has since narrowed that number of contacts, and we have let some of those people know that they are no longer considered to be a high risk of exposure. But I hope the experience has taught everyone how easily even one case can spark an outbreak, and how high the risks are of leaving your bubble whenever you do. It has also taught us how vitally important it is for all of us to be using the Fiji Care app and have your Bluetooth or switched on whenever you are in a public place. There are currently 52 known active cases of COVID-19 in the country. From that number of cases, there were already thousands of primary and secondary contacts, stretching my contact tracers to their limit. Care Fiji eases that growing burden. Its technology does not depend on the limits of human labor. The app does not get tired. It does not take breaks. It works 24/7 to save your lives and the lives of your loved ones by stopping the virus as quickly as possible.
So, as the Minister said, they are stopping the virus as quickly as possible, and he of course did mention that the virus has been brought in and Fiji has been put in that position, and they are trying to do everything that they can to get it under control, including a national lockdown. So, we are with you all, and we are standing by to see what can be done. But right now, let's go to India, where the death toll has surpassed 250,000.
Gasping for air, Dr. Dimple Aurora Chavla recorded a warning.
Please don't take corona so lightly.
The young mother, who was 7 months pregnant, had tested positive for COVID 6 days earlier.
Please wear mask whenever you go outside, and especially during my pregnancy. I really don't want.
Just over a week later, Dr. Chavla lost her unborn baby. The next day, she also died.
Her untimely demise led me to post this message to the world so that the world can know that, you should not take COVID so lightly.
The number of deaths in India remains staggeringly high. The true figure will never be known. Countless people have died whose identity or cause of death will never be officially recorded. With many major cities overwhelmed, the virus is now ravaging the poorest and most remote. Health services here were never prepared for the onslaught. It's a black hole for reliable data.
I told the staff that my mum's oxygen cylinder is empty. She's shivering in pain. They're doing nothing.
India is made up of a patchwork of local restrictions and state lockdowns. These are often announced or extended at the last minute and only for a week or two. The question is, when will India decide to open up? Because right now, the virus is still very much in control.
our positivity rate is around 20%, which shows that we are testing very low. And when we are testing very low, this means we are missing lots of patients.
Restricting the surge in uncertain times. James Oaten, ABC News, Delhi.
So as you can see, the situation is quite grim there, and we are so fortunate to be here with proper health facilities and everything. So, when you look at those kind of situations, and our heart goes out to all those people who are suffering and those under those conditions at the moment. Well, right now, coming back here to Australia, let's take a very quick look at opposition leader Anthony Albanese's budget reply.
I call the Leader of the Opposition.
My fellow Australians, I grew up in a council house in Camperdown, the only son of a single mum on the disability pension. I stand before you tonight seeking the honour of serving as your Prime Minister. I'm here because of sacrifices my mum made to give me chances she was denied by disadvantage. I'll never forget that. I'm here tonight because good government changed my life. For me, and I know for so many people in similar circumstances, the policies and decisions of good government can make all the difference. A good government, building a strong economy and a fair society, opens the door to education, to employment, to decent housing, to proper health care and a better life. I lived that as a young man, and I saw it firsthand as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Infrastructure, creating jobs, connecting up communities, boosting productivity in our cities and our regions. I understand the value and the power of good government. And I know our country needs and deserves a good government again. Yeah. A government that believes in your potential, a Prime Minister who shares your values, a Labor government that's on your side. Yeah. Mr Speaker, Australians know that the last year has been unlike any other in our lifetimes. And when we look at the devastation and heartbreak still unfolding in parts of the world, it's only natural to feel that things could have been a lot worse here. Yet when I look at our country today, I also know we can do so much better. So much better than real wages declining over the next 4 years, after flatlining over the last 8 years. So much better than 3 more years of scandal and a government treating taxpayers' funds as if they are Liberal Party funds. Yeah. So much better than 3 more years of announcements that are never delivered. And so much better than merely coming back rather than building back stronger. Yeah. This budget offers a low growth, low productivity and low wage future. And $1 trillion of debt. Is that really the best we can aspire to? I want Australia to emerge from this crisis stronger, smarter and more self-reliant, with an economic recovery that works for all Australians. Throughout this pandemic, Australians have given up so much. Labor's plan is about rewarding and repaying the sacrifices that people have made. Tonight I will further outline Labor's alternative policy agenda, an agenda with 3 guiding principles that will drive Labor in government. 1, an economy that delivers for working families. 2, investing in Australia's future. And 3, no one held back and no one left behind. Yeah.
So no one held back and no one left behind. I think those 3 principles, in principle, are very good. But I think, moving forward, what the government really needs to do to boost the economy is something similar to JobKeeper. when you saw that, with a bit of job subsidy, there was growth, there was stability. Small businesses could afford to keep employees. So if there is a subsidized wage system in which, small to medium business people can employ more people, but without sacrificing the wage conditions and the wage rate that is set in Australia, without sacrificing that, how does that happen? That can only happen if there is a bit of subsidy and a bit of help from the government. So still maintaining that pay rate, but making it affordable for the small to medium businesses to keep people in workplace. That way, it will get people off the dole system, getting into the workplaces, and providing to the productivity of the nation. So that's something to think about. Something that the government needs to take on, something that we have always been saying. Right now, let's take a break and get a message from our sponsors.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And real estate is the world. And don't forget that every Wednesday they bring to you the real estate update, the weekly update with Usha Chandra, when you find out about all the property trends and looking at what's happening within the industry, and of course all the growth suburbs, growth rates, rental rates, open houses, and the lot. Lots of graphs and comparisons nationwide. Well, as I mentioned before, that today is 14th of May. 14th of May being the Girmit Remembrance Day, marking the day when first boatload of Indians were brought to Fiji under the British rule in 1879. The first boat to arrive in Fiji was Leonidas, and it arrived there on 14th of May 1879. To mark that Remembrance Day, Gopia Queensland is hosting a Remembrance Day as it does every year, and that function will be at Queensland Multicultural Centre, and you still have time to register if you haven't registered, and we'd love to see you all there. Well, right now let's take a very quick look at one of the achievements of Gopio International. Gopio International, when you look at Gopio, is a truly international organization representing the Indian diaspora, the largest Indian diaspora organization in the world. So with many countries which come under this scheme of indentured labor transfers in the 1800s, Fiji, Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad, Mauritius, to name a few, St. Louis, and of course Martinique and Reunion Island. So all of these come under that. To mark that, most of the people left, well, not all, most of the people left from Kolkata. Kolkata was at that time name is Calcutta, and it was the India's gateway to the world. And the ships under the East India Company used to come to the ports in Kolkata, bringing goods in, taking away spices and other things, and of course exporting the indentured laborers to their respective countries. So to mark all that, in 2011 we inaugurated a memorial with the help of Bengal government, West Bengal government, and Mamata Banerjee, whom you will see speaking, who has once again become the Chief Minister. She was there, and of course it was done under the guidance of the then Minister for Overseas Indian Affairs, Mr. Balai Ravi. So let's take a look at that memorial as it took place, and I was fortunate enough to be present there. So the inauguration of Girmit Memorial in Kolkata.
other officials
Mamta
from the
Banerjee
Department
speaking.
of Overseas India, Port and others, all my overseas friends and employees of Calcutta Port from this workshop, brothers and sisters. Greetings to all of you. And today I am really happy to see my overseas friends. And of course, the compliment should go to our Minister, Bharat Raviji, because of his vision and his direct action. Our overseas friends, today they are here and a historical plaque will be unveiled today. It is already there. And I think sometimes we forget our history also. One day you started your career as a endangered levels, but today proudly I can say country is proud of you. You are doing so many things culturally, educationally, from the industry point of view, from the other point of view also. We salute to all of you and your family members also. Some people, they have lost their lives. The aged people are not with us also today. Our gratitude to world family also. World became sweet family, and India, on behalf of Indian family, we convey our gratitude to world family also. আমার ভাই এবং বোনেরা সবাইকে শুভ নববর্ষ জানাই। করে ধরে নিয়ে গিয়ে কাজ করিয়েছে, কেউ দেশের জন্য জীবন দিয়েছে, কেউ লড়েছে, they sacrificed their life.
From the spirit to their descendants who nurture in their hearts a strong bond with the land of their ancestors. May I now request the Honourable Minister for Overseas Indian Affairs, Shri Vayalar Ravi, to deliver the inaugural address.
Mamta Banerjee, one of the oldest friends and my cabinet colleague, Mr. Mughal Roy, the minister, of the port workers, friends. Because I am very much associated with the port workers for the last 35-40 years as leading the Cochin Port Union once upon a time. It gives me great pleasure today to be present here on the historic occasion of the unveiling of the memorial plaque for the indentured laborers who left the shores of India to distant lands of the 19th and early 20th centuries. Friends, I must acknowledge that this memorial has been possible largely due to the untiring efforts of the members of the Gopio and other interested persons. Memory of their forefathers' journey for distant lands centuries ago has been a driving force. I would also like to acknowledge the support that my minister received from the Minister of Shipping, the Government of India and the Government of the West Bengal and the Calcutta Port Trust in making this happen in a relatively short time. During the indentured system, which lasted from 1833 to 1920, more than 1.2 million Indians were transported to different parts of the world. It's about 4,53,000 went to Mauritius. Yes, one of the descendants. And 2,39,000 to British Guyana. And 1,50,000 to Trinidad. And 1,52,000 to Nepal. And different many other countries, including Fiji. Today, the descendants of the indentured laborers are scattered across the continent and oceans. Many of them have done extremely well for themselves and their adopted countries. In fact, some have reached the highest political order in their countries and are now shaping the destinies of their adopted countries. The PBD which over 2 days ago, our chief guest was Sir Anand Satyanand, he said in the meeting, my father, all the way from UP, came to the Calcutta port and made the journey to Fiji. That's the story of a Governor General of New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, this memorial is a tribute to those Indians who courageously embarked from the ports like Calcutta to distant unknown lands. The British government had enacted the first law to control immigration in 1830. The memorial symbolizes the deep emotional connect the descendants of those Indians who are now living in different countries of the world have with India. All of them nurture within their hearts a strong bond with the land of their ancestors, that's India. It is the innate Indianness that each of them still carries that ensures that India's footprint is felt all over the world. Today, we remember these heroic Indians, our ancestors, and honor their proud descendants all over the world. And I take this opportunity to salute the memory of all those who went from this spot. Thank you. Jai.
That's where we did the inauguration of the memorial, the plaque of which I have with me. It is the ones that we will be, paying tribute to tonight. So, if you haven't booked your on Eventbrite, please do so, and we'd love to see you all there tonight. Well, right now, let's finish off by taking a look at some of the functions and events taking place in Queensland. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for you in this segment, and it's been wonderful having your company as usual. It's so good to see you. Well, don't forget that today is that very significant day, the 14th of May, when we remember those people who left India in the early 1800s for many different countries, including Fiji. 14th of May is a significant day for Fiji, as on 14th of May 1879, the first ship Leonidas arrived there. And we have a function organized in the mode of remembrance by Gopia Queensland, and that will be taking place tonight at Queensland Multicultural Council. For those who can make it, we would love to see you all there tonight. Until next time, it's goodbye from me. Remain safe and have a good day.